Welcome to your 4 to 5. Right now, we're keeping a close eye on the sky amid the chance of severe weather across the Triad. I'm Lauren Coleman here with Eric Chilton, and we have Chad Silver on the show today.
I just love coming back here, you guys. We always have so much fun.
We do.
You always have so much fun, and you allow me to take part in it, so thank you for that.
We welcome you every day.
I appreciate that. Eric, you've been tracking an active radar for, I think this is really the third day now.
Yes.
What can we expect?
It is. So we're watching all of this as it gets closer to us. The good news, I think, is that it's not looking as widespread as yesterday, but the chance of severe weather still exists. And you can tell when you look at the radar, I mean, look at all the severe thunderstorm warnings. Most of it in the mountain communities now. Again, the best thing I've seen over the last really 2 or 3 hours is that is not as widespread, and it really is moving at a fast clip too. I mean, some of this moving at 25, 30 miles per hour, given a big push by some winds back behind it. A lot of this is not the actual front, but it's what we call like prefrontal trough, which basically just means some instability ahead of the cold front itself. And so we see this severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for Ashe and Watauga, so Boone and maybe West Jefferson area for the next little bit. Overall, we still have more to deal with, but again, not quite as bad as before. We do have the severe thunderstorm watch. That's in effect for the entire viewing area until tonight at 8 o'clock. That's about the timing that all of this should be pushing through. If you look at this high resolution futurecast, it's right over the center of the Triad by about 6 o'clock tonight. So between now, the next 2 hours, let's say, or a little less, things will continue to deteriorate a little bit, get worse. The biggest threat, I think, with this is not as much lightning as yesterday, but winds. The winds are going to be very strong, gusting maybe 50 miles per hour at a time, so that could cause a problem. Thinking that it'll be on the east of us for the Triad by about 7:40, but southern counties, maybe Montgomery County, still dealing with it. Then quick clear out overnight. The best news that we're seeing with this is the fact that after that, the weekend looks so much nicer with lower humidity starting to move in, and no arguments there. That's the actual cold front, which will clear us as we head into the evening tonight. High pressure stays in control to our north, and that means this for our long-range forecast. We'll go with 85 for your Saturday. Low humidity, it'll be breezy, winds gusting 15 to 20 and maybe up to about 25 miles per hour. But what a great weekend, 85 and 82 for Father's Day. Low humidities through the weekend. Monday, partly cloudy, 85, then the heat moves back in. Slight late day shower or storm chance Tuesday and the rest of the work week next week. Highs go to the mid-90s Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
And if you point your phone's camera at that QR code on the bottom right side of your screen, it will pop up a link to download the News 2 app. It's the best way to keep track of the weather, even traffic before or after work. Now, much of our area saw quite the show in the sky yesterday. Wayne in Burlington sent us this incredible photo as the storms were passing through. That bolt really lit up the sky. Seth in Eden sent us this picture of some ominous looking clouds around the same time. The eerie clouds left a dark blanket over the city. If you have the chance to take neat weather photos, we'd love to see them. You can upload your pictures or video on our app or just text them to us, 336-379-5775.
Now let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. Right now, authorities say a third victim of the Alabama church shooting is dead. They say a 71-year-old gunman opened fire at a potluck dinner yesterday in Birmingham. 2 people died on scene, and the third person died at a hospital today. Investigators say the shooter was stopped by someone attending the event who held him down until police arrived. They say he acted alone and don't believe there's a threat to the neighboring community. It's been 1 year since a family went over the Duke Energy Dam while tubing on the Dan River, killing 5 people. Among those who died, a pregnant woman and a 7-year-old boy. 4 other family members survived. After the deadly accident, Duke Energy installed new signs to warn people about the dam. Some of the signs were made larger, and signs were also made in Spanish. Rockingham County officials wanted people to stay aware of the conditions and always take the cautious approach. Right now, commissioners are planning out future city investments. Last night, they approved an $861 million budget for the 2023 fiscal year. The money will fund resources like education, law enforcement, and housing. It will also bring back a longevity pay system that increases bonuses for jail staff and first responders. We have an update on an investigation pertaining to a popular Triad pizzeria. The U.S. Labor Department says Cugiano Forno denied full wages to 63 workers. We have found out the incident dates back to 2019 and involves Greensboro, Winston-Salem, and Clemens locations. The department says the pizza place paid workers as little as $1.19 an hour, forcing them to rely almost entirely on tips. Investigators also found Cugiano Forno failed to pay the required overtime rate. The Labor Department recovered $276,000 in back wages for the affected workers. They say all back wages have been paid, and the restaurant has agreed to follow the law moving forward.
Lots of families are still scrambling to find baby formula. Overseas shipments are expected to arrive in Ohio and Virginia today, where Vice President Kamala Harris will greet the flight. Meantime, the FDA says it's working with Abbott after its Michigan manufacturing plant shut down again, this time because of weather.
Today, Vice President Kamala Harris is meeting with transportation workers who are helping to get more baby formula to store shelves. At least 10 flights carrying foreign formula to the U.S. are scheduled this week, according to the Department of Health and Human Services.
We are pulling the full force of the federal government to ramp up production and to increase the supply of safe infant formula.
I kind of walk through the aisle and I'll look. I have never seen it empty like that. I have compassion for those who are struggling to find it.
Some experts say that struggle may not ease for some time, even as the Biden administration has secured commitments for more than 130 million bottles of formula in the past month.
I think that we'll still see tight availability at least through the end of the summer.
Adding to the troubles, the Michigan Abbott formula plant at the center of the crisis had to shut down again due to severe storms and flooding. The plant had just restarted production days ago, though it was previously shuttered since February due to concerns of contaminated formula.
This is an unfortunate setback and a reminder that natural weather events can cause unforeseen disruptions in supply chains.
This week, the head of the FDA told lawmakers his agency is in constant contact with Abbott's CEO and that officials are on site working with the company to get the facility back up and running as soon as possible. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
Formula shortages, car part shortages. The latest item shoppers might find hard to find is tampons. It's the latest essential item getting hit with supply hiccups across the country. A Greensboro nonprofit is doing its part to make feminine hygiene products easily accessible to middle and high school girls in Guilford County. I Am a Queen is a youth development organization for girls ages 10 to 18. The group is collecting pads, wipes, tampons, and hand sanitizer to distribute to Guilford County schools. The initiative is all a part of the Queen's Period Project.
We just want girls to know that they're worthy and they can have confidence in going into their school systems and asking for these products and not having to pay for them.
The teen-led initiative partnered with 14 schools to receive donations with a goal to distribute 2,800 kits this summer. 10th grader Jemiah Holman says she wanted to help after learning some of her classmates didn't have access to these essential products.
So I just felt like being a part of the Period Project and being a person or being a leader that can help change that and help change the experiences for the girls coming behind us, then that's something that I wanted to do.
I Am a Queen held a drop-off event in early June where they were able to assemble 2,200 kits. Their next drop-off event will be June 24th at the Windsor Recreation Center in Greensboro. Those interested in helping can also donate funds online or utilize the group's Amazon wish list. For more details, just look for the story on our website. We'll be right back.
Yeah, we're watching the chance of severe weather across the area. I don't want to jinx it because I'm afraid to say this. It's looking a little bit better, but we do have severe thunderstorms. Still back to the north and west. Our mountain and foothill communities dealing with that right now, and it is moving into the triad little by little. So when you look at this earlier today, the National Weather Service upgraded us from a slight risk. Now, most of the triad is in the slight risk. That's the yellow color you see here, and we get that quite frequently. The enhanced is the orange color, so Rockingham County, parts of Stokes and Surrey, and moving up into our southern Virginia counties, we don't get that quite as much. So we'll keep an eye out. It does look like it could be more severe the farther north you go, but we'll watch for that. Severe thunderstorm watch until 8 o'clock tonight. Here's the latest in this, and we do see these thunderstorm warnings now starting to extend a little more to the east. So here's Wilkes County, also Alexander and Iredell in that, and Boone, Watauga County, Ashe County, and now Allegheny, all included until at least 5:15. There's a possibility some of the wind speeds within these thunderstorms, and that's really the bigger issue today. It's not as much lightning as yesterday, but still wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour in some cases. Here's our high-resolution futurecast as we look ahead. This is at about 6 to 6:20. That's when the majority of this will be over the heart of the viewing area. Then it moves on to the east pretty quickly. It's moving at a really good clip, and we think by about 7 to 8 o'clock we'll see gradual clearing, lower humidities move in, and a great weekend forecast. We'll have that coming up.
Boy, if you think Eric has a lot of kids, listen to this. One father cares for nearly 3 million kids and says he couldn't be more proud. Summer Clayton uses his TikTok channel to hold intimate conversations with people longing to have a conversation with their father. He calls it Dinner with Dad. It works like this. Clayton sets out 2 plates of food, tells you what's for dinner, says a quick prayer, and then simply asks you about your day.
We're having sushi today. How are you? Yeah? Okay. Well, hey, give me one good thing that happened today and one challenging thing. Hold on. Thank you, God, for this food. Amen. All right, start with the good thing. Okay. Nice. How'd that make you feel? Yeah. Okay, cool. What was one challenging thing that messed up your day today? Yeah. Well, listen, I am really sorry to hear that. We can talk about it while we eat. And then we can get out of this heat, because I'm dying. I love you.
Clayton's TikTok videos are full of comments from people sharing updates in their life, sometimes good, sometimes bad. Whatever the nature, the TikTok dad says he is there to listen.
This is such an interesting concept because if you think about it, dinner time is a time that we usually express our feelings and talk to different people. So I love this idea of using social media to have these like virtual conversations with folks.
And I think it's a great outlet for people who either don't have a father figure or just want someone that, you know, is basically listening to them, because sometimes you just gotta let things out.
Get it out. And this is so timely because, you know, usually this time of year for people who might not have a father or father figure, they might feel a little down. So knowing that there's someone out there providing this kind of an outlet is a great thing.
I mean, when you have 3 million kids, though, think about how many Father's Day gifts he's going to get on Sunday.
That's a lot, and also sounds like a lot of meals to give out, too.
Right, yeah. Well, good for him.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can follow him on TikTok. We'll be right back. Hi, Facebook.
It's Friday, gotta get down on Friday.
We didn't have Eric's mic come on because he is busy talking about and looking at the radar. So Lauren, tell me about your weekend.
My weekend, I am getting a new television tomorrow, so I'm very excited about that.
How big?
I believe it's a 55-inch.
Nice.
It's like a Christmas gift. I know it's, you know, June, but it was what I got for Christmas for my parents, so it's finally getting installed tomorrow, so I'm so excited.
Nice.
Gonna watch a lot of true crime this weekend.
That's
Maybe
great.
chill out by the pool. What about you?
I am officiating a wedding tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
2 of my good friends are getting married over at Revolution Mill in Greensboro. I think it's like my 9th ninth wedding that I've done.
How did you
yeah,
get
so.
into this?
So many years ago, I think it was the first year I moved to Greensboro, so probably about 8 years ago, two of my friends asked me, they said, hey, we are getting married. You introduced us. We think it would be a perfect completion to this love story if you married us.
Wow, let me find out you've been a matchmaker.
Who knows, right?
Mr.
So they were like, it's really easy. You can go online and we'll talk about it later. We'll talk about the rest later.
I want to hear the rest of this.
Let's start out by talking about the temperatures out there, because it's kind of interesting when you look at this wider temperature map and you go back toward Galax, Virginia, where that front is now starting to, or at least the precipitation ahead of the front, I should say, is starting to move in. Look at the difference in temperatures. Mount Airy's at 91, Galax at 75. Guess where the rain is and where it's moving to. Look for these early storms to gradually clear, and then we're mostly sunny tomorrow. Beautiful day. Here's what it looks like right now. A lot of the thunderstorm activity. Sometimes this happens when a line of storms comes over the mountain. The mountains kind of eat it up a little bit, and then it tries to organize or reorganize itself on the east side of the mountains. And where that reorganization happens usually determines who gets more of the severe weather. So we're watching this closely, but the severe thunderstorm warnings are starting to creep to the east little by little. We see up in our southern Virginia counties, Carroll and Grayson counties there, that is a severe thunderstorm warning until 5 o'clock. Some of the radar indicated hail, we don't have actual reports of that, but what the radar returns are showing us is that that hail could be as much as 3/4 of an inch in diameter. And if we head back down to the south, Allegheny, Wilkes in this particular warning, so is really Ashe and Watauga counties. That goes until about 5:15. We see an isolated thunderstorm developing here in North Wilkesboro. I want you to know, if you're in Winston-Salem or north of Winston up to the county line, that's a pretty heavy thunderstorm pushing through that area, and it is moving southeast, so Kernersville probably next in that. Give it about 15 to 20 minutes and you'll be feeling the effects of that. When we go back out to the wide shot, it is again, thankfully, not as widespread as it was yesterday. Futurecast shows this by about 5:45 to 6. It'll be right over us, and it looks like it may or may not reorganize over the triad. What we're hoping is that it may take it a while, and that might happen closer to, say, the Raleigh area. Notice how it gets pretty heavy. This is at 7 o'clock tonight. So from the Charlotte area back up to Raleigh and north and east of Raleigh, we're seeing a good bit of convection or thunderstorm activity for that neck of the woods. If you're in our southern Virginia counties, anywhere from Martinsville or Galax over to Danville, keep an eye out in the next hour. That's probably our big time period when you could see a heavier shower or thunderstorm too. Take a look into the weekend, because that's our silver lining, isn't it? 85 and 82, low humidity, sunshine, beautiful Saturday and Sunday. Get out and enjoy that. Monday's great too. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, back to that normal 20 to 30% chance of a late day pop-up storm. Highs 91 Tuesday and mid-90s for the rest of the week.
All right. All
Okay.
right, so I need to hear the rest of this story.
Okay, so they told me, they said, you know, we want, if you're just tuning in now, a couple of friends of mine years ago decided they were going to get married, and they wanted me to officiate the wedding because I introduced them. So they said it's really easy. You can just go online, you can just apply to be an ordained minister, and we'll pay for the charge, but we would just love for you to do it. And it was actually, it was easier than it should have been.
Okay.
It was like filling out a job application, and that was it.
There was no tests, there was no
Nothing,
studying?
nothing. You pay some money, you get a little sheet of paper that's a diploma. It's kind of embarrassing that it's so easy.
So you get paid to do these events? Or
No.
usually you're just doing out of love and kindness?
So I've always said that if I was already planning to go to your wedding, then I would not charge anything.
I love that.
And that's how it's been for all 9 of the weddings. I had already been planning to go to the wedding, and so I've never charged anyone.
But you get to eat first.
I eat before everybody
Yeah.
else. Yep. But I thought about just doing like a side hustle of it.
Yeah, I like that
Start a
idea.
website, but I only do destination weddings.
Oh, okay.
Only
so they fly
destination
you
weddings.
out.
So 3-night minimum stay wherever you're staying, airfare,
Okay.
and
So
yeah.
It's still all about Chad, not the people getting married.
Well, yeah, but I mean it's still a business, you know. But so I'm excited about that.
That is really, really cool. You're giving a lot of people in the chat some ideas too.
I know,
Get
yeah. I
licensed.
better come up with like a price point.
Yeah, I love that idea, but I'm excited for you and your friends and you helping them find love. That's awesome.
Not this couple, but yeah, the
But
initial
the initial
couple.
couple,
Yeah.
the one that you're about to marry tomorrow.
I'm excited about your TV.
Oh yeah, I'm excited about that too.
Okay.
But tune in, Facebook. We're about to go to the next story. Sunday, Americans will observe Juneteenth, the nation's youngest federal holiday. On Thursday, we took you inside the Thankful Heritage Traveling Black History Museum. Here's a look at how it plans to celebrate the holiday and the message it hopes guests take away from its displays. Juneteenth is right around the corner. What's the museum doing to celebrate?
Well, we are making it possible for people to come and see how things were before Juneteenth and how things were and are after Juneteenth.
What does Juneteenth mean to you?
Well, Juneteenth is such a historical time because in 1619, the first slaves came to America in Jamestown, and then in 1776, after America was founded, then the people were still slaves. And so after the Civil War was over with, then there was people who were free, but it would be 619 before they actually got to Texas and everyone was free.
So the museum highlights different phases in Black history. The message that you want people to take when they come here, would you say that Blacks are truly free today?
Well, Blacks have more opportunities than we've ever had, but at the same time, we want our children to be able to have a better life than we had. Now, Dr. King said after his house was bombed in 1956, he said that one day the youth who are not yet born, but who will come into this world with new privileges and new opportunities, I want them to know and see that these new privileges and opportunities did not come without someone suffering and sacrificing. So we want the youth today to know that they stand on proud shoulders and that they should take full opportunity of the privileges that they have for education and to go out and be the best person they want to be.
That quote was so powerful. I was feeling that all through my bones.
And I love that he like got into character because I mean it was so important to share that message the way that it was originally shared.
It really like pulled you in. What I definitely took away from my interview with him was that, you know, it was exciting when Juneteenth became a federal holiday. That's great, but a lot of people want to know what's next because obviously there's a lot of things where we have inequality and things that need to be addressed, policies that need to be in place. So what do we do next now that we are officially recognizing this holiday?
It must be incredible to see. I was listening to yesterday, and I think I got this right. For 30 years,
yes,
he's been doing this traveling exhibit, and each, I guess, generation has something different about it.
Absolutely. So he started collecting items just because he was interested in it. And then people started bringing him into different schools to speak, his children's teachers. And then he has like thousands of different magazines, ebony magazines, pictures, artwork, different things like that that represent different phases of Black history. So he has been going on the road through different parts of North Carolina, putting on these different displays. So he's hoping to get a permanent location soon.
It would be incredible to see the evolution of Black history just in one room. I mean, for many, many decades.
Yeah, it was great. And what we saw yesterday, it was 3 different rooms in this display, and it's only a fraction of the items that he actually has. It was like about 350 in this exhibit, but he has like thousands of things.
Incredible. Well, it is a big weekend. Triad celebrations for Juneteenth are in full swing. In Greensboro, organizers are commemorating the holiday with a series of events as part of Juneteenth GSO Fest. We've got a full list on our website, or just text the word Juneteenth to 336-379-5775 and we will respond with a link. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to your 4 to 5. Right now, we're watching for severe weather across the Triad.
Our live radar, you can see it. It's pushing into our area on the right side. That live look over Burlington right now. Those flags are whipping in the wind. And you have been anticipating this happening today, Eric.
Yeah, the wind is really the bigger issue with everything. And I'm thinking of areas that got a lot of rain in a short amount of time yesterday. Trees could be a problem if winds start to pick up. Not that we had soaking rain everywhere, but there were some areas that had 3 to 4 inches of rain. And if you had that, there's that possibility these winds could cause a problem, because some of the wind gusts are upwards of 50 to 60 miles per hour within these thunderstorms. Now, they're not as widespread as yesterday, so that's good news. And we're not seeing quite as much in the way of lightning either. But again, severe thunderstorm and winds, that's the bigger concern. It is starting to move through. The mountains kind of eating up a little bit some of the heavier thunderstorm activity. Notice how we're seeing more of just the greens and yellows and not really the reds and oranges and purples. However, if you look back down to the south, we are seeing some of that. So as we look at this, this is for Patrick and Surrey County, a severe thunderstorm warning until 5:30. Now they've extended it east into the Triad. So this is Davidson, Forsyth, and Guilford, from Greensboro through all of Forsyth County, and then the northern tip of Davidson, Wilkes County in that as well, and Yadkin County, and all that goes until 5:15. These are moving so fast that we're going to see this change. Sometimes you'll be watching it change with us while we take a look at all this. Let's go back down to just the actual thunderstorm cells. This one from Bethania up to King, and really east of that that area. So between Highway 52 and 311, if you're traveling from Walkertown on Highway 66 up towards Surrey County, you'll see lots of lightning within that particular cell. And this one too, along Highway 421 from Louisville to Yadkinville, that's a fairly strong one. All of these that's why we're seeing these thunderstorm warnings extending to the east. And then just barely right here, I have a little bit off the map there, but Kernersville seeing heavier showers and rain at this hour. This is another one up in Rockingham County. That's from Wentworth to Mayodan and up to Stoneville. Again, you notice how these are smaller, isolated, but they're still strong within those systems. And you could see hail within any of these, although we're not seeing it very widespread at the moment. If you do see that, don't forget, just send us a picture if you can from where you are, and we'll or post it on social media, tag us. We'll take a look at that and keep you posted on this. Overall, heavier rains now starting to move in from the mountain communities and also just south of North Wilkesboro. That one's picking up. If you're along the Moxville area in Davie County, that's probably headed your way in about 20 minutes. Forecast for us, though, overall, we look good once we get through tonight. In fact, I think by as early as maybe 8 o'clock, we'll see a lot of this start to push on to the east, and it's a low humidity for the next 2 days. Here's our payoff. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Some people have Monday off. So low to mid 80s, low humidity, good sky conditions. Next week, start to warm it back up. 91 on Tuesday. That's when we're in the summertime pattern. A late day pop-up thunderstorm for just about anybody is possible. And we go back to the mid 90s, unfortunately. That's for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Going to be a hot one. Thanks, Eric. If you point your phone's camera at the QR code on the bottom right side of your screen, it will pop up a link to download the News 2 app. It's the best way to keep track of the weather, even traffic before or after work. People have already sent us some pictures. Marion Creedmoor sent us this picture today, looking like the clouds are bubbling from the bottom. We got some wild pictures from yesterday's storm too. Houston sent this picture from Burlington, looking like the sky is going to fall right out. He snapped this one right outside of the Waffle House. Let us know what kind of weather you are seeing where you live. You can upload pictures or video through our News 2 app, or just text them to us. The number 336-379-5775.
Now let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. Right now, the state health department says it's ready to distribute vaccines to children under 5 years old. Officials say children are vulnerable to COVID-19, the virus, just like everyone else, and should be protected. The department is prepared to send vaccines to clinics across the state over the next 2 weeks. They're just waiting on the final green light from the CDC. That go-ahead on the child vaccine could come as early as this weekend. The FDA has authorized it, and the CDC makes its recommendation tomorrow. The kid-sized shots are made by Moderna and Pfizer. Companies are already starting the process of shipping millions of pre-ordered doses across the country. If the CDC signs off, vaccinations for children under 5 could begin as soon as next week. Families now have more opportunities to cool down at Guilford County's public pools. Hours are expanding to the weekdays starting next Monday. The pools at Bromell Park, Northeast Park, and Hagenstone were only open for weekend hours because of a lifeguard shortage. They also opened later this year because of the need of employees. The Greensboro Hoppers have a doubleheader tonight after yesterday's storms postponed the game. Heavy rain and winds knocked out the lights at the stadium. Tonight's game starts at 5:30. It'll be 7 innings instead of 9.
If you're looking for some adventure, there's a new Greensboro destination that might be just for you. Battleground Parks District hosted its grand opening today. The initial idea blossomed out of a partnership between Greensboro Parks and Rec and the Science Center. It's also the first $5 million phase of the bond-funded improvements in the area.
So we have a lot of new features here at Country Park. We have the zip line, the flyway that you can see behind me. We also have the canopy walk, which is a really beautiful walk up in the trees on the hillside. We have a promenade and food truck area where food trucks can come out and set up. We also have moved our dog park from across the lake to this side of the lake. We have a new parking lot that is featured down at the end off of Lawndale. We also have a new 100-person shelter as well as a new set of restrooms.
The grand opening unveiled new features like zip lining and a canopy walk. Now that looks cool. Would you?
I would absolutely
zip line
do that.
over the lake?
I would absolutely do that.
Me
that
too.
looks like
That
so
looks
much
like
fun.
fun.
I love a thrill.
Yeah.
I would love to do it.
I love that they're doing so many things over there. I mean, she just listed off a laundry list of things that you can do. And I mean, you could be there all weekend doing
Yeah,
stuff.
it's just going to gravitate more people to come through because they're going to have food trucks as well as some outdoor activities. And people are always looking for fun things to do outside.
Yeah.
So, and you'll definitely get a workout out of it too. So
I would like the option, you know, when you're going across the zip line to eject and just like drop into the water.
See, I'm not that strong of a swimmer, so I want to hold on. I'm going to be
Right.
holding on tightly, but I definitely want to try that out.
Have you ever done any cool zip lines anywhere?
I have done like a miniature one at like a park or something, but I've never done anything like that where I had to put on a harness and a helmet, but I would definitely try that out.
And I mean, look at, she's flying there.
She's up high and she's going fast.
Right across the lake. That is awesome. There's a guy who I went to high school with who builds zip line courses now. And he just travels all over the world, and like people hire him and he builds zip line
So
courses.
they're like about that high like this, or they're like a
just
miniature?
big ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Sounds
What
like
a
a
job.
good deal. You
Yeah.
should go check it out.
You get a nice breeze too in this heat. We'll be right back.
Was awful. Yes, a mic check. Ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together like a classic.
Heavier thunderstorms, not as widespread as yesterday, thank goodness, but we're still watching to see if this can reorganize a little bit. Just hit or miss little pockets of thunderstorms. You can see some of it out ahead of the actual front, developing over the mountains now. It's more just scattered showers, but these little tiny pockets of thunderstorms back to the east. Let's kind of do the roundup because the severe thunderstorm warnings are in effect. That's for Galax, or around Galax, but Carroll County and Grayson County until 5 o'clock. If you head back to the south, you're looking at, there's Allegheny County in this, and Wilkes, Watauga and Ashe counties also until 5:15, and now it's spread to the east. Looks like Yadkin County also in that, and then Davidson, Forsyth, and northern parts of Davidson. Guilford's in that, probably the northwest corner of Guilford, and then those individual pockets. So that's a heavy thunderstorm there between Bethania and Walkertown along Highway 66 to the north of Winston. Kernersville with a lot of rain right now. Not as much lightning as yesterday. That's good news. Bigger threat with these storms, I think, is wind gusts up to 50 to 60 miles per hour. And from Clemens Athens and Louisville area, just a little bit west there on Interstate 40 and 801, it's getting kind of rough. In Rockingham County, Wentworth over to Reedsville with the majority of the thunderstorm activity around the Wentworth area. And if we go back out to a wide shot, you can see doesn't look as impressive. The best news is that this is the time of the day we've kind of peaked out temperature-wise, and then we start to see things kind of die down a little bit usually. But this risk runs until 8 o'clock tonight, and we, of course, will keep you posted if anything changes. Until then, our overnight lows tonight are going to be in the upper 60s. Highs for the weekend are beautiful, low to mid 80s, lower humidity, and lots of sunshine.
Meet George Jetson.
All right, you know the Futuristic Family, don't you?
Yes,
I loved that show when I was a kid.
I absolutely did too. My mom always said when they were kids, they thought that they were going to be living like the Jetsons in the 2000s.
And here we are.
Close.
Yeah.
Maybe. All right, so the Jetsons, they're set for life in the year 2062. Did you know that?
No.
I did not know that.
Okay, so follow me here with this. All right, so here we go. The Jetsons are living in 2062. At the time, George, the father figure, is 40 years old, which means George Jetson was born sometime in 2022, my friends.
Wow.
That is
mind blown, right?
So it's possible that we could be living like them.
We could be.
Okay.
Yes. So I think to myself, what would the father of the future want for Father's Day? And I ask this because, all right, so let's watch, because when so much is done for him, okay? So we've got this, he's standing there, he's like, where's my shoes? And he pushes a button and the shoes come on his feet, right? And then his clothes come on and he gets his teeth brushed and his hair combed and all that kind of stuff. So what does the father of the future want?
That's a tough question. What are you thinking?
Oh, geez. Definitely not. I mean, I could put my own darn shoes on. I don't need anything like that.
Maybe like a self-driving car? I mean, but those kind of exist now.
But that kind of exists now.
I mean, I want to fly. I want to fly. I want like a cool machine that helps me fly. I'm not a father, but that's what.
But that's what you would want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
All right. Well, according to the National Retail Federation, this is what dads are getting this year. Special outings, clothing, gift cards, electronics, and personal care items. The total for spending this year, about $20 billion for Daddy-O. Hey, I got to tell you, $20 billion, though, is about the same as last year, which was a record high, so inflation doesn't seem to be shrinking for dads.
Okay, all right.
I mean, you got to make sure dad feels the love, right?
I got him a golf shirt.
Okay, so you got the clothing, one of the things on the list.
Best Buy gift card. Remember,
Okay,
I already
so
told you that the
also
other
one
day.
of the things on the list, right? And as I was going down the list, Chilton's going, yeah, that one, yeah, that one, yeah, that one. So he's good with all of them for those of you listening at home.
Right.
Okay. All right, I got some quick fun facts for you when it comes to Father's Day. July 5th, 1908, a West Virginia church sponsored the nation's first event to honor fathers. But this was like a one-time thing. That was until 1910. A Washington state woman rallies for the first official Father's Day to be celebrated. She was raised by a widower father, and so she wanted fathers to be celebrated. But it didn't become a holiday until 1972. That is 58 years after Mother's Day became a holiday.
Which came first, Mother's Day or Father's Day?
Mother's Day.
Mother's Day.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. What came first, the chicken or the egg?
Mom.
Seems like about every 5 to 10 minutes, we're seeing more thunderstorm warnings moving on to the east as the National Weather Service tries to stay ahead of this thing. And we look at it now across the area. This is Davidson, Forsyth, and Guilford, a severe thunderstorm warning until 5:15. They've now extended, if you look up north and a little bit to the east, that's around Henry, Pittsylvania, Rockingham, and Stokes counties are in that one until 6 o'clock, because the majority of this, even though it looks like we have little pockets of heavier thunderstorms, the majority of the rain is still back over the mountain and foothill community. So it will get here in the next probably hour to hour and a half, and then we'll be on the backside of this thing. Individual cells across the area, we have lots of them popping up from Summerfield right up 220 there. If you move along Highway 150 and 158, you're seeing some moderate to heavy showers. Then it goes to full-on thunderstorm activity, Kernersville, and that looks like it's moving kind of along Interstate 40 there, heading to the east, approaching Interstate 73. So from Kernersville to just to the east of Kernersville on 421, you'll see some heavier showers. Also along Highway 66, headed north out of Kernersville. So if you go up through Walkertown and heading into Surrey County, you'll run into some lightning with that. And pretty strong in the Louisville-Clemens area. They're getting just pounded with rain right now. That's moving along Highway 158 and 40 eastbound. A lot of it right along our major roadways. So that's not good news at this time of the day. Wentworth down to Reedsville there with heavier thunderstorms, and most of it is approaching Reedsville. If you're in Reedsville or on Highway 29 right now, you probably will see the majority of this in about 10 to 15 minutes, because these are moving at a pretty good clip. The entire system has yet to clear our area. That probably won't happen until later on tonight. In fact, if we look at this with the futurecast, the line of showers extending from Charlotte all the way back up to Richmond, Virginia, for goodness sake, all of that gets right over us about 6 o'clock. So we've got about an hour and 10 minutes till that. Then on the backside of it, it starts to move to the east. Notice how it picks up down east from the Raleigh area, north and east from there, and then stretching south. Maybe Montgomery County, the southern tip, will still have some thunderstorm activity around 7:30, but we do think by 8 o'clock it is all a distant memory. And boy, do we have good stuff coming in after that. Mid to lower 80s for Saturday, Sunday, low humidity. That's the best news. Some of our dew point readings will be in the 40s. It'll be crisp, clear mornings. How about the morning low temperature? Sunday is 59 degrees with a high of 82. Monday, 85, mainly dry. Then a slight 20 to 30% pop-up late day shower or storm. Low 90s Tuesday, but back to the heat, mid 90s the rest of next week.
An 8-year-old boy is all smiles after accomplishing a special mission. George Hinks from England has a rare heart condition and knew who to call to make his dreams come true.
Word spread quickly in northern England.
What is happening?
British police needed backup.
Senior Ghostbuster Cadet George.
And 8-year-old George Hinks was just the man for a ghost-busting mission.
There's something strange in your neighborhood. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters!
George raced off in the film's famous Ecto-1 vehicle, hot on the trail of his lifelong dream.
We're gonna get busted!
George always wished he could be a Ghostbuster. Born with half a working heart, he can't do everything his friends do.
When I first watched Ghostbusters the film, it turned my whole entire life upside down and it made it completely happy.
The films helped him face his fears through 3 open-heart surgeries.
Ready?
Now, one of the original Ghostbusters, Dan Aykroyd, is swearing George in for his dream battle.
And to trap and report ghosts wherever they are bothering living human beings.
This time, ghosts were haunting a local library. After the UK's Make-A-Wish Foundation gave it a spooky makeover. And just like in the movies, with their proton packs and wands, they got him.
It just means to me that I could do anything and nothing's out of my reach.
We've got one!
Yeah. And with that lesson learned, mission accomplished.
That really touched me.
He
was
good.
smiling ear from ear. I loved it when the actor from the movie was like pledging him in, and he was just
Right.
like smiling, looking at the screen. That was so awesome.
Oh, I love that. And so Eric about had a heart attack when he heard that you have never seen the movie.
I have actually never seen the movie. I'm familiar when I see like images of it, where
Sure.
it comes from, and of course I've heard this song, Who You Gonna Call? Ghostbusters, but I have not seen it. So
it's good. You should watch it. And
maybe this weekend on my new TV.
You know what? Ooh. Invite me over.
Okay.
I see it. So when I was a kid, we used to drink, my favorite drink was, they were called Ecto Coolers.
Okay.
And Slimer is the green ghost guy that slimes everything. And it was like based on him. It was one of those little like a Capri Sun where you stick the straw in like the bag. And it was just my favorite drink. It was green, there was no reason for it. It was just sugar, but I loved it.
Yeah, so you can relate to this kid, like how he loves this movie so much and how he said, it turned my world upside down in a positive way.
Right.
It made him feel like he could do anything, and it was just, you know, it just felt great to just see him so excited.
And it's interesting though that he is, you know, so attracted to a movie from so long ago. I mean, right? Like, I mean, kids these days like movies that have come out now. And so it's great to see that.
It just goes to show how strong of a film and how much of a classic that it is.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, I haven't seen it yet, but.
Who are you gonna call? A movie rental place.
We're gonna call you Day.
Okay,
Because that's next.
That's good.
Sometimes in life you need a little personal space. Today, Coach Lamont has a message about respecting different opinions and allowing people the room to grow. Take a listen.
A husband and wife were in the kitchen preparing dinner. The wife was cooking as the husband stood next to her. Every small thing the wife did, the husband would chime in with a criticism or instruction. As she cooked, he would say, "If you don't watch it, it will burn. The fire is too hot. Turn down the heat, too much oil. If you don't turn it over, you're going to ruin it." The wife grew frustrated and turned to her husband and said, "I know what I'm doing." The husband replied, "Of course you do, darling. I just want you to know the feeling I get when I'm driving and you're constantly chirping away." The moral of the story, sometimes people need space to do the things they are good at without your opinion. This is Coach Lamont. Make today your best you day. I'll see you tomorrow.
Reminds me of my parents when they were in the car, when my mom would be telling my dad to slow down, and he'd be like, no backseat drivers.
Right, the backseat driver, that's a thing though,
Yes,
for
it
real.
is.
Especially if you're in the way back seat. But I agree, you know, sometimes you just want your own space to do whatever you want. You don't want to hear criticism. You don't want to hear anybody's opinion about it. Just let me do my own thing.
And I think sometimes people just have to realize people have a different way of doing something. Doesn't necessarily make it wrong, but it's just different, even though some of us like to control everything. Not me, I'm not talking about myself. Some people just have a way of doing things and we just have to respect that.
So which person do you think you are? Do you think you're the person that likes to have control and then just let me do what I want? Or are you the person that kind of looks at the other person and says, you're not doing that right, but I can't tell you that?
I think I'm a mixture of both. I think we've all been on both sides of it. I wouldn't say I'm like one over the other, but I have been on both sides where I'm like, that's not how you cook that.
Right.
That's not at the right temperature. And people are like, let me do my thing.
Right, I'm kind of the same way. We'll be right back.
One, two, three. Eric Chilton is tracking.
Hello, mic check, 1 2 1 2 1 2 3.
W for -2.
Not even another round.
Thank you.
Hi, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1.
Mic check 1 2 3 4 5. It's Friday. Can I get a
Let's talk about this hot weather. Highs in the mid-90s. I mean, you're looking at increased humidity, heat index readings over 100. I was researching this a little bit. What does that do to our minds, to our mental state? Did you know that there's an increase in psychiatric hospitalizations when we go into those hot periods? It's hard to believe. In some cases, crime rates can go up. That's probably also because, and we all know this, your irritability increases as well. But did you know that the elderly are more at risk for mental stress during hot periods than other age groups? And when I heard this, I thought it kind of makes sense, you know, and that it really can do a number on you physically, and then that can make your mental state even worse, and they'll worry about that. So it made me think about the older people in my life, and I think we all need to think about that you got to check on your older loved ones when we go through these hot periods. Stay out of the heat as much as possible. You know the routine. Drink a lot of water, stay hydrated, try to stay inside as much as you can, and even shade is a heck of a lot better than being in that direct sunlight. So I know we're into those, as they say, kind of the dog days of summer. They're coming. We're not even there yet. We're already in the mid-90s. But I think the big takeaway here is that we go through this every year for short periods of time. There is always light at the end of the tunnel. And this weekend, our light is low to mid 80s, low humidity and sunshine. It'll be absolutely perfect. So everybody take a deep breath and realize that this too shall pass. But that's just my 2 cents, and that's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.
Another hot, humid day in the Triad, another round of storms popping up across our area.
Meteorologist Eric Chilton is tracking the radar. Eric, will these storms look as bad as the ones that we saw yesterday?
You know, it's interesting because they're not as widespread, but if you do see one in your backyard, you will have some wind gusts